Hey everyone. I wanted to talk a bit about karma because a discussion came up in a Discord server I'm in. It's kind of focused on enlightenment, this whole kind of thing we're all interested in. And the question of what is karma came up, and a bunch of people gave beautiful responses. And then I remembered, like, the Gita has something to say about this too, and I think it is a valuable message. It definitely helped me when I read this. I think mostly because I was very ready for it. Certain ways of framing it sometimes uh, can lead to bypassing in a way. But this is one way if you are, um, especially if you have someone guiding you. Um, So Krishna gives something for us to figure out what is karma, um, and what is the process of getting free of karma. So firstly, Krishna says what we're getting free of is karma bandham, karma bandham, which means the bondage of reactions. So there, karma is the reaction. So it's not the event necessarily. Like Arjuna's karma is not Kurukshetra, the war. It's his response to the war. And that is the yogic journey in a sense. The war within our body, our mind, what's going on around us, all of that. So Krishna helps Arjuna to know how the yogis do it, because he did talk about Samkhya and how they philosophize about it, philosophize, whatever the word would be. So now he's talking about how yogis do it. So Krishna says, "Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga." So in this context, yoga isn't necessarily referring to downward dog and all these things, right? So yoga is talking about focus on something that is beyond our sense capabilities to a point. It is all pervading, obviously, but it's focused on something that is persistently stable, and in doing so, we become stable too. So you may not know necessarily, this may not have dawned on you that I am that stableness. However, you get to a point of evenness. So when you are even, it takes, well, I'm just going to do my work and I can't really control the outcome. And I'm okay with that. Whether I fail or succeed, I know I tried my best, or this kind of thing where you work for the sake of working and doing what you love, maybe. But whether that succeeds or gets how you want it to isn't 100% within your grasp, you know what I mean? So just perform your work, whatever you're doing, and abandon attachment to success or failure. So Krishna says, after this, the next verse, rid yourself of all fruitive activities by devotional service. Now, devotional service in what context? The context of yoga. In the context of yoga, devotional service is working towards God union. So you're working towards a direct experience of God. So it's devotion in that sense, like you are determined, first of all. You have faith that there is a God, more or less, that helps, that can definitely help. You don't need it, though, to gain peace. And it says, Krishna says, to surrender fully to that consciousness that is absolutely transcendent. Know that you are guided by that, and that all of this, while it is valid, your personality is valid, your needs are valid, your wants are also valid, and your boundaries are valid. But in the grand scheme of things, it's secondary to what you really are, that pure being, that it has no dimensions, so it's not finite, it's not measurable in any capacity. So just surrender to that, to the all, more or less. You know what I mean? You need that, right? So let's continue. So a person engaged towards God union with devotion rids himself of good and bad actions even in this life. So from that perspective, the way you live your life, you're not a doer. So you're free of performing a good or bad action. You've transcended both of those qualities. And he says, therefore strive for yoga, God union, which is the art of all work. So what he's saying there is, what we're all getting at with what we're doing in the world, it's to have peace of mind, right? Everybody wants peace of mind, whether you are very angry person, very ignorant person, whether you are a single mom, whether you are, we all want peace. So that is what yoga gives us. So in essence, we're always striving for yoga. So it says, Krishna says, the wise who are engaged in this devotional service take refuge in the Lord. So by working towards the Lord, in essence, we take refuge in the Lord because we begin to see the stillness and feel the stillness and the peace. And just a little bit is like big. That's big because most people meditate 20, 40 years and never get any results. So if you have even a little bit, that's great. So they take refuge in God by seeking God union, as you can see. And they free themselves from the cycle of birth and death by renouncing the fruits of action in the material world. In this way, they can attain that state beyond all miseries. That verse, wow. It's, that's saying a lot. So, it's a state beyond all miseries. So any misery you could ever experience, you get to a point where you realize you're beyond it. And it's not just that intellectual thing, like you see, you are beyond it. And so just by renouncing the fruits of your actions, negating your karma, negating your reaction, you gain peace of mind. And the fruit of this, which we may not also be attached to, some can, it's not bad. In this way, we can attain the state beyond all miseries, just like that. And it's very, very powerful to just accept the will of the all, the supreme being, Ishvara. So the personification of everything, because everything is ultimately alive. It is conscious. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I had to share today, I think. This is nice, I think. So when all the varieties of ways of talking about the Supreme Truth, when they no longer bother you and confuse you and bewilder you, and when you are constantly aware of that vast oneness, which is peaceful and blissful, it says, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. That is it. So, Bhagavad Gita for today. I should mention, I'm not initiated into any Advaita, so I take everything with a grain of salt. It's just my experience, my interpretation. So, yeah, I am initiated into Kriya Yoga, not Advaita Vedanta, not any study of Vedanta, but I have done a lot of reading, that's all I'll say, and a lot of meditating. Bye.